Hello everyone, in this video we are going to use the lung, the other organs. So the lung from the location, the lung sits in the thoracic cavity above the diaphragm. It communicates with the throat and opens into the nose and mouth. So there's a track goes to the mouth and the nose. The meridian, the lung meridian connects to the large intestine. And the orifice of the lung is the nose. There's one word there, florid canopy. What does it mean, florid canopy? It's actually a quite funny translation. The florid canopy in Chinese or literally it refers to this. So this yellow stuff, similar to an umbrella, that's the canopy, florid canopy. What happened to here, or in which situation we're going to use this kind of stuff? That's in the past, when the emperor goes out, at the back their servants will be always holding this kind of umbrella on top of the emperor. We use this kind of canopy or the umbrella to talk about the lung. It's actually, we indicate that the lung sits on top of our body. The lung sits on top of the body, which is very similar to the canopy. Sits on top of everyone. And also, what's the function of the canopy? As in case there's rain or hailstorm or something from the sky, it can protect the emperor. They protect important aspects. So that's also the similar function of the lung. The lung sits on top of our body. In the upper jaw, we're going to introduce raised upper jaw, but the lung and the heart sits in the upper jaw. So it can help to protect the body as well, and also the lung related to the skin, to the superficial skin, which is also the first boundary of protecting ourselves, our human body. The function of the lung governs the qi. The lung governs the qi, and this definition, the lung governs the qi and the lung in charge of breathing. So breathing is a kind of qi. Qi. When we talk about the qi in philosophy, we mentioned that the qi in Mandarin, it also can refer to the air, the breathing. The air we breathing is also qi. So the lung governs the qi and the breathing, but this qi is not only refers to the air. This kind of qi the lung governs is the qi of the whole body. The qi of the whole body. How many qi do we have? There are two kinds of qi. The first is innate qi, which is generated from the innate essence. Also, there's an acquired qi. Acquired qi is from the spleen qi from the food, and then with the combination of the heteral qi or the air which is from the air from the environment. So that's the qi of the whole body. The lung governs the qi of the whole body. When the lung governs the qi of the whole body, it governs the formation of the qi. Also, it governs the flow of the qi. This is very similar to the heart governs the blood. The heart promotes the flow of the blood circulation. And then here the lung promotes the qi circulation. So the formation of qi, the qi of the whole body, we already talk about that. Where does the qi come from? From innate qi, which is from innate essence. And then with the combination of acquired qi. Acquired qi is from the grand qi, from the food. Acquired, which is from the food. And with the combination of the air in the environment. So the source of the formation of qi are innate qi, acquired qi, which includes the qi from the ground and water, and also the air. So these three, or these two, or these three are the sources of the qi. That's also where the air from the environment mixed with the grand qi that's in the lung. So as we breathe in, the air from the environment goes into the lung, and then in the lung, this air from breathing mixes with the acquired qi, and then it becomes to the acquired qi in the body, which is a part of the qi of the whole body. And this is the formation of the qi, and also the flow, the circulation of qi. Once this qi in the body, how do they circulate? The qi circulates through sanjiao. So we have mentioned quite a few times sanjiao. From here, you just need to remember the name, and then we will, in future, in the later videos, we will discuss what's the sanjiao. The qi stays in the chest, that's where the lung is. And also the qi will move outwards to the throat, to the nose. The qi also can move to lower jiao, to the kidney, to the liver, and these are through sanjiao. So this is very similar in our environment. We can travel from here and there. We can travel from the Ren to Dongfangtan to our university. From Dongfangtan, we can travel to the western Rand, to the eastern Rand. But how we can travel from one place to the other place? We travel through the highway. The highway is the pathway where we travel. Same as here. The qi can stay in the chest, can go to the throat, can go to the lower parts of our body. How does the qi travel? The qi travels through the pathway. The pathway we call sanjiao. That's one definition of sanjiao. So here, if someone, the lung governs the qi. If they're short of qi, they don't have enough qi. In this condition, in the treatment, we can use the treatment to improve the lung function. Also, if they lack of qi, if the lung is weak or doesn't function well, if the body lack of qi, we have the qi deficiency, and in this condition, the patient may feel like short of breath. That's also because of the lung governs the qi. The second is the lung governs the dispersing and descending. Dispersing and descending actually are two aspects. One dispersing from internal to external, descending from up to down. So this is the combination function. The lung governs both of them. Dispersing here actually more refers to from lower part to upper, so one's from down to top, one's from top to lower. So this is actually the balance of both. If the lung, the function of dispersing and descending doesn't function well, what will happen in our clinical practice is the patient may have shallow breathing. The qi supposed to descend, but in this condition, the qi doesn't descend properly. So it's supposed, for instance, it's supposed to descend to a certain level, but it just descends a little bit and move upwards again. In this condition, we say that the lung loses the function of descending. Then the patient will have shallow breathing. And this descending also related to the next function of the waterways. Waterways, the lung in charge of the water metabolism. So descending, when the water travels out downwards, we also from the function of the lung's function of descending. Dispersing. Dispersing can refer to one is the qi from breathing. While we breathe in, the qi from the environment or the air from environment mix with acquired qi in the chest, and while we breathe out same volume of qi, but this qi, the one we breathe in and breathe out, are different because they change. The qi we breathe out is considered as waste qi. Also from the modern science, we can see that the qi from inhale and exhale, the oxygen or in the qi, in the air we breathe in and out is not the same. So that's one aspect of dispersing qi. The second aspect of dispersing is the lung also disperses the qi, the acquired qi, which is from the spleen and stomach. So spleen and stomach receive the food and digest them, the food and water, and then it will become the acquired qi, which we can use. This acquired qi from spleen, it will be transported to the lung, and the lung can disperse the qi to all over the body. So that's the second meaning of dispersing. The third is the lung can disperse the nutrition, which also in the form of qi and blood, to our superficial, to the skin, to the muscles. That's also the function of the lung. For instance, that's why for the skin disorder, in many conditions we will use the treatments to assist the lung, because for skin disorder, sometimes we will think that it's the disorder of the lung function. That's from the function of dispersing and descending. As you can see, these two functions is actually the combination of two, and the function should be in balance. It should be in balance condition. So the spleen transfers some qi to the lung, and the lung can help to disperse to all over the body. It can be the qi, it also can be the water. It can disperse to the superficial skin. That's the function of qi. and the qi, the lung governs the regulation of waterways. This function also relies on the function of dispersing and descending. That's very similar to the function of the dispersing and descending qi, because this is only one when it disperses the qi or they disperse the water. So if the regulation of the waterways or the regulation of the water or body fluid, the abnormal condition, if someone that don't have sweat or edema, that's abnormal situation of the water or body fluids in the body. In this situation, what we are going to do, we also use the treatment to assist the lung to recover the lung's function, to assist. The next function of the lung is the lung links with all vessels. The lung links to all vessels, and in other words, that all vessels links to the lung. So these are actually the same phenomenon. And when all vessels links to the lung, who governs the vessels? You still remember? In the previous videos, we said that the heart governs the vessels. And then now we said all vessels linked to the lung. You see now the lung and the heart have some connections there. Also, we said that the heart governs the blood. The lung can govern the qi, have all these functions. But what's the nutrition for the lung? Does the lung need a nutrition from somewhere? The answer is yes, that's from the heart. And the heart, the circulation of the blood, we said the heart qi. The heart qi is very important, or the heart yang qi is very important for the circulation of the blood. And where does the qi come from? Where does the circulation of the qi? Who governs the qi of the heart qi? As the lung governs the qi. This qi, when it goes to the heart, is considered as the heart qi. As you can see here, when we exactly what we said before, when we study one by one. But the more we study, actually you can see that we integrate all these organs, all these functions together. Although when we introduce these functions, we introduce one by one, but actually they related to others. When we discuss the heart, we don't mention the qi, where does the qi come from? But now we mention the qi is governed by the lung. You will see the heart qi also governs by the lung. But the lung, the blood in the lung is governed by the heart. So you can see from here, these are all related. And the lung, the last aspect is the lung governs the regulation of qi, blood, and body fluids. These are also because of the qi function. The lung governs the qi, and the qi, the blood, the body fluids, these materials or these substance movements rely on qi. That's why the lung governs all these. The blood movement need to have the qi. The body fluids movement also rely on the qi. That's why the lung governs the regulation of blood and body fluids. So this from here, the most important is The lung governs the qi. This qi refers to the qi of the whole body and also in charge of the breathing. The next is the relationship with the emotion, body fluids, body constituents, and orifice. Sorrow. Sorrow as the emotion of the lung. So this is another emotion of the lung. The reason why sorrow is considered as the emotion of the lung is because of sorrow related to the qi. For instance, sorrow was the most common signs of sorrow or common symptoms of sorrow. When people feel sorrow, what they do, most of the condition, they cry. After crying, do you feel energetic or do you feel fatigue? Most of the condition, you will feel fatigue, and fatigue is a sign of lack of qi or qi deficiency. So the lung, the sorrow will consume the qi, but the lung governs the qi. That's why we see the connection in these three: sorrow, qi, and the lung. That's why we said that in 黄帝内经 it described that sorrow will consume the qi. And the lung, sorrow is considered as the emotion of the lung. The body fluids, nasal mucus as the body fluids of the lung. The lung opens in the nose, and the nose. The nasal mucus is from the nose. And the lungs condition also can reflect in the nasal mucus. So for instance, in a flu condition or a common cold, what are the most common symptoms of this kind of problem? The patient will tell you that runny nose. That's the first symptom they feel. The runny nose. Because the flu and the common cold mostly affects the lung in the first place. That's why the first symptom you can see something affects the lung is nasal mucus. And also from the nasal mucus, you can see different nature of the pathogens, such as clear mucus or thick yellow mucus, that indicates different pathogens. And skin as the body constituents of the lung, and the body hair as its blender. So this means that you can see the lung's function from the skin condition or the body hair. That's because the lung disperses the nutrition, the qi and blood to the superficial skin. If the skin doesn't, the physiological condition of the skin is not well, it can reflect that the dispersing function of the lung is not well. That's why we said the skin is the body constituents of the lung. In 5 elements, the lung is considered as the metal, and the metal, the atom, also the metal. So the lung corresponds to the autumn. That's also why in autumn, especially in the dry seasons, we will have more lungs problems. That's because of the dryness in autumn is more likely to attack the lung. And in this condition, that's also why we said the dry cough is due to the autumn dryness. Dry cough or with less phlegm or the dry nose and dry mouth. As the symptoms of dryness from the autumn can affect the lung, and the lungs problem can reflect on the skin or nasal mucus. Okay, in next video, we're going to introduce the spleen. So as we introduce more and more these organs, what you need to do is you need to connect the information we have introduced to the previous organs, such as here when we introduce the lung, you need to connect some of the functions of the heart. Where does the qi, the lung governs the qi, but how does the lung function? This from the blood as the materials. So the lung itself, it also needs the nutrition. Where does the nutrition come from? This from the blood. The blood is governed by the heart. And the heart, the blood needs to move. You also need the qi movement from the lung. So, and then when we discuss more and more these organs, you can relate more, you can connect more and more functions, and then eventually it will build the whole system of human physiological condition. Okay, so as you can see, these theories is not complicated, and also there's not a lot of words here, as you can see from the slides. But what's important when we study the theories, it's very important that you understand the situation and you know how to use these theories to analyze our physiological phenomena, or to analyze our physiological activities. That's the purpose of the theories. Okay, thank you guys.